Your Majesty! Forgive us, Your Majesty. We do not have a perch for you because we did not think you would accept our invitation.
It is not your invitation that brings me here.
Netflix has finally confirmed the release dates for Bridgerton Season 4, and it looks like the wait will be worth it. This next chapter in Shonda Rhimes' glamorous period romance is officially set to follow Benedict Bridgerton, played by Luke Thompson, as he finds himself caught up in a fairy tale-like love story. The second Bridgerton son is about to fall for a mysterious woman at his mother's masquerade ball, but there's one tiny problem. He doesn't know who she is, where she comes from, or even if she's part of the high society world he belongs to. Season 4 will follow the same format as Season 3, with 8 episodes split into 2 parts. Part 1 drops on January 29, 2026, and Part 2 will arrive a month later on February 26th. Netflix announced the news with a stylish video full of masked ball scenes featuring Benedict and his new love interest, Sophie, played by Yaren Ha. The teaser was, of course, narrated by the unmistakable voice of Julie Andrews as Lady Whistledown, adding her usual touch of elegance and intrigue. The upcoming season draws inspiration from An Offer from a Gentleman, the third book in Julia Quinn's beloved Bridgerton series. But this particular love story is unlike any the show has tackled before. In the novel, Sophie is the illegitimate daughter of an earl, forced into a life of servitude within her own father's household. When she sneaks into the Bridgerton masquerade ball, it's not fate or magic that gets her there, it's careful planning and a little bit of deception. In many ways, Benedict and Sophie's romance mirrors the classic Cinderella tale, complete with disguise, mystery, and a midnight twist. But Bridgerton adds its signature flair, passion, power dynamics, and plenty of emotional depth. This time, there's a real imbalance between the leads, not just because of gender roles or class expectations, but because their worlds couldn't be more different. Luke Thompson, who plays Benedict, spoke to Netflix's Tudum about the fairy tale inspiration behind this season. "You remember hearing those stories as a kid, the magic and the romance of them," he said. "It's really exciting to have that woven into Bridgerton's world. It's such a great story, but it's also, I hope, really relatable." His words hint at a mix of fantasy and realism that will make Season 4 feel both nostalgic and grounded. But the romantic fairy tale isn't the only fresh thing about Season 4. Showrunner Jess Brownell, who took over the reins in Season 3, revealed in an interview with the LA Times that Benedict and Sophie's story won't just unfold in the lush, flower-filled backdrop of spring like past seasons. Instead, parts of the season will take place in autumn, introducing a new color palette and a different kind of emotional tone. The decision makes sense, especially considering that in Quinn's novel, there's a big time skip between Benedict's first encounter with Sophie and their reunion. Rather than unfolding over one London season, their love story spans several years, making it more mature and layered. That shift also opens the door for audiences to catch up with other Bridgerton favorites who've evolved since Season 3. We'll likely see Penelope and Colin adjusting to married life, possibly with their baby in tow, while Kate and Anthony navigate their own next chapter as a married couple. Meanwhile, Eloise and Francesca could return from their time in Scotland, a trip that might have changed both sisters in unexpected ways. The returning cast is as strong as ever. Ruth Gemmell will reprise her role as the loving and witty Bridgerton matriarch, Violet. Florence Hunt and Will Tilston will continue to charm audiences as Hyacinth and Gregory, the youngest siblings. Adjoa Ando returns as the always wise Lady Danbury, Golda Rochevelle once again commands the screen as Queen Charlotte, and Victor Alley will appear as John Sterling. We'll also see Daniel Francis as Marcus Anderson, Violet's charming new love interest, along with Hugh Sachs Brimsley and the Mondrick family, played by Martins Mbangbe and Emma Naomi, now finding their place among the Tons elite. New faces are joining the mix too. Katie Lung will step in as Lady Araminta Gunn, Sophie's cold and conniving stepmother. Michelle Mao and Isabella Way will play her daughters, Rosamund and Posey Lee, rounding out the trio of women who make Sophie's life a living nightmare before her fateful encounter with Benedict. But all eyes, for now, are on Bridgerton's newest couple. Fans are eager to see whether Sophie's presence will help Benedict rediscover his love of art and reignite his belief in romance. In the books, his artistic soul is what sets him apart from his siblings, and it'll be interesting to see whether the show leans into that aspect of his character this season. Interestingly, Jonathan Bailey, who plays Anthony, may have just hinted that Season 4 will feature a big romantic moment not seen in Benedict's original book storyline. In a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Bailey mentioned that he filmed a wedding on a Monday morning while working on Bridgerton Season 4. He quickly added that the show includes lots of weddings, so it shouldn't be taken as a major spoiler. But since Benedict and Sophie's book doesn't feature a wedding at all, fans are now wondering, whose wedding could it be? In An Offer from a Gentleman, Benedict and Sophie never actually marry on the page. Their relationship ends with a heartfelt declaration of love. Benedict tells Sophie, "In my heart, you are my wife," and she responds by confessing she's loved him since their first dance. When they reappear later in Colin and Penelope's book, they're already married and happy. So, if the show does include their wedding, it would mark a meaningful expansion of their story and give audiences that fairy tale ending the book only implied. It's entirely possible that the rumored wedding will show up near the end of the season, perhaps as part of an epilogue, much like how Season 3 closed with a glimpse of Colin and Penelope's baby. It would make for a satisfying wrap-up to Benedict's romantic arc, while leaving room for the next sibling story to begin. Of course, there's always the chance that the wedding Bailey mentioned isn't Benedict's at all. Francesca and John Sterling were married in Season 3, but their relationship is still developing, so maybe they'll get another ceremony or celebration. Alternatively, Violet Bridgerton's flirtation with Marcus Anderson could progress faster than expected, though that seems less likely, especially since many fans are hoping her love life will be explored in a separate spin-off series, perhaps in the style of Queen Charlotte. Still, seeing Benedict and Sophie's wedding play out would be a treat. Weddings in Bridgerton have always been beautiful, emotional, and full of tension, the kind of moments that stay with viewers long after the credits roll. Each wedding so far has symbolized more than just romance. It's about freedom, acceptance, and love defying the expectations of society. If Benedict and Sophie do tie the knot on screen, though, it could bring up an interesting issue: the fact that we never got to see Anthony and Kate's wedding. Their season centered on Anthony's disastrous wedding attempt with Kate's sister Edwina, an event orchestrated by Queen Charlotte herself. By the end of Season 2, we only saw Anthony and Kate as newlyweds, sharing intimate domestic moments instead of walking down the aisle. It was charming, but it also left fans wishing for more. Imagine if we'd seen an actual Bridgerton Sharma wedding, one that blended Regency tradition with elements of Indian culture, given Kate's heritage. The music, the colors, and the ceremony could have been breathtaking. So if Benedict's wedding does appear, some fans might feel it's unfair that Anthony's was skipped over entirely. Still, Bridgerton has always played a long game with its storytelling. Every season builds upon the last, mixing romance with hints of what's to come. With Benedict stepping into the spotlight, the series is exploring themes of identity, art, and love that transcend social class. His journey feels like a natural evolution for the show, especially after Penelope and Colin's more socially constrained romance. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.